Dear Debtor. Dear Debtor, let me speak to you, not as someone judging you, but as someone who understands how life really works. Because the truth is, borrowing money is not wrong. It never was. Situations come up that you didn't plan for. Needs appear when you're not ready. And sometimes, despite your efforts, what you have is simply not enough. In those moments, you turn to someone who has a little more, and you ask for help. That in itself is human. But the real issue begins after the money has been given. Because something often changes, and it's hard to ignore. Somewhere between, "Please, I really need your help," and "I'll pay you back," the attitude shifts. The humility fades. The appreciation reduces. The sense of urgency quietly disappears. And before you know it, the same person who kept calling becomes the one who can no longer be reached. Dear Debtor, what changed? Think about it. When you needed that money, you were consistent. You checked in, you explained your situation, you reassured them. You made them feel confident in you. You said things like, "I won't let you down. I'll return it very soon. Just trust me on this." And they believed you. Not necessarily because they had plenty, but because they trusted your words. So why does that same effort become so difficult when it's time to return what was given? Why is it easy to call 10 times to ask, but hard to call once to explain? Dear Debtor, silence speaks loudly. Avoiding someone who helped you sends a message whether you intend it or not. And acting like nothing happened only makes it worse. Let's be clear about something. This is not only about money. It goes deeper than that. It is about how you handle responsibility. Because even if you cannot repay everything at once, you can still communicate. You can still show that you haven't forgotten. You can still make small efforts that prove your intentions are genuine. But instead, what do we often see? Some people become defensive the moment repayment is mentioned. Think about that. You receive help from someone, and when they calmly ask for what is theirs, you begin to see them as the problem. How? How does the person who helped you suddenly become the one at fault? Dear Debtor, that mindset needs to change. You expect patience, but give no updates. You want understanding, but avoid responsibility. You ask for kindness, but respond with attitude. It cannot work that way. And there's another truth many people avoid talking about. Some people collect money already knowing they have no intention of returning it. Yes, it needs to be said. Before the money even leaves the lender's hand, the decision has already been made. You notice someone is calm, kind, or avoids conflict, and you take advantage of that. You convince yourself they won't push you. So you collect and slowly disappear. That is not cleverness. That is a lack of integrity. Let's also talk about something practical. Some people borrow amounts that don't match their reality. If you have never handled a certain level of money before, what is your actual plan for returning it within a short time? It's not enough to believe things will somehow work out. Repayment requires structure. It requires thought. It requires honesty with yourself. Because when the time comes, reality does not adjust itself to your promises. Dear Debtor, be realistic before you collect. And remember this too. The person you borrowed from may be making sacrifices you cannot see. That money might have been set aside for something important: school fees, rent, family needs, emergencies. But they released it because of you. So when they come back asking for it, they are not being difficult. They are responding to a need. And sometimes that need is urgent. But instead of understanding, what do they receive? Excuses that keep changing, stories that don't add up, or complete silence. Some even go as far as cutting off communication entirely, blocking the very person who showed them support. Dear debtor, how did it get to this point? There's something else we need to acknowledge. Debt has ended many relationships. Friendships have been destroyed. Families have grown apart. Trust has been damaged in ways that cannot easily be repaired. Not simply because money was borrowed, but because of how it was handled afterward. Because money may be physical, but trust is emotional. And once trust is broken, rebuilding it is not easy. If you truly value someone, you won't put them in a position where they have to chase you. You won't make them feel uncomfortable for asking. You won't make them regret helping you. Because that regret doesn't stop with you. It spreads. The next person who genuinely needs help might be turned away because of what someone else experienced. So your actions don't affect only you. They affect people you may never even meet. Let's also address entitlement. Some people believe that once they explain their situation, they should be understood indefinitely, without effort, without updates, without accountability. Yes, life can be difficult, but difficulty does not remove responsibility. If anything, it makes responsibility even more important. And please, stop turning lenders into enemies. When they remind you, they are not attacking you. They are simply asking you to honor what you agreed to. There is a difference. Dear debtor, here is something to remember. Bring the same seriousness you had when asking into the process of repaying. If it mattered then, it should still matter now. This is not about being perfect. It is about being accountable. It is about being honest. It is about protecting your name. Because long after the money is forgotten, your reputation will remain. And the way you handle situations like this will always speak for you. So dear debtor, handle it differently. Communicate clearly. Make a plan. Show respect. And follow through. Because one day you may find yourself in need again. And when that moment comes, people will remember who you were the last time. Not what you said, but what you did. Now let me ask you, what experience has borrowing or lending taught you personally? I'd like to hear real stories. Let's learn from each other.